the spinach is melted into the sauce and the tomatoes are just collapsing beautifully. And this is all low calorie, can you imagine that? This is great if you're looking to manage your weight a little bit but still want to eat something really creamy. Today I'm cooking this super easy low carb recipe. It's called the creamy pesto chicken pan with cherry tomatoes and green beans. It is so fast, it will be ready in a splash. So put on your apron and let's go. So I'm going to start by rinsing the cherry tomatoes. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same for the spinach. Give the spinach a good rinse. The spinach has quite heavy stalks, so I'm going to just cut them out and then just roughly chop it. Now if you have fussy eaters, you might want to chop it a little bit more fine. And then the last step for the prep here is just to grate the parmesan. So next I'm going to fry the chicken. I make sure all my chicken is more or less the same thickness, and that makes sure that they all cook more or less at the same time. I might give this one a little whack. You can just use the back of your hand like this gently, or a rolling pin if you want it. That's pretty good. Alright, let's fry it. So I'm going to add a drizzle of olive oil onto my pan. I'm going to bring the heat to high. So once the pan is hot, I'm going to reduce it to medium-high heat. And then I'm going to add my chicken breasts on the pan. I'm going to let them fry for about, I would say these ones, 5 to 6 minutes. Alright, so it's been about 6 minutes now. Look at these, they have a beautiful color. I'm turning them around. So now if you've been a little bit impatient and the chicken starts to burn, a little tip here would be to add a little spoon of water on your pan. Reduce the heat, cover it with a lid and let the chicken cook in peace to make sure it's properly cooked inside but doesn't burn on the top. But so far we're doing okay. So once the chicken is ready, I'm just going to remove it from the pan. This is great because I can just use the same pan for everything. Just a small drizzle of olive oil, just a little extra. I'm going to add in the cherry tomatoes. Then I'm going to add in the water. Then I'm going to add in the stock cube. So I'm going to add the lid on top. I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit and let it simmer for about 8 minutes. So meanwhile, while the tomatoes are cooking, I'm going to trim the green beans. I'm going to trim the ends off. Alright, my water is boiling. So I'm going to add the green beans in. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. And then I'm going to let them cook for about 5 minutes. I want to keep them a little bit al dente. So typically when I cook this recipe for my children, because this is a great weeknight recipe, it's so fast and simple, I would add a little bit of mashed potato, or if I have gnocchi in the fridge, that would go really well with this recipe as well. And actually last time I cooked this recipe I had surprise guests, so I just used baguette in addition, and that's wonderful as well to clean the plate from all that amazing creamy sauce that we'll be preparing soon. So I'm going to have a look what's happening here under the lid. You can see that the tomatoes have cracked open beautifully. So now we can continue. I'm going to add in the spinach. I'm going to mix it in well. Spinach takes only a couple of minutes to properly wilt and kind of make the sauce. Okay, next I'm going to add in the pesto. So pesto really just means pounded. So it's pounded basil with a bit of parmesan, olive oil and pine nuts. Mix that in nicely. And finally, to kind of just combine it all together lovely, we're going to add the cream. Doesn't matter if you put a little bit more. As you can see, the spinach is wilted and melted into the sauce, and the tomatoes are just collapsing beautifully, giving a nice color to the cream. Okay, we'll let it simmer just for a minute or two. So I'm gonna add in a really good grind of black pepper. I'm gonna add and fold in the parmesan. Just gonna make the sauce a bit thicker. And this is all low calorie. Can you imagine that? Like nice and indulgent. Okay, and then I'm gonna pop in the chicken to warm it up and get it properly coated in the sauce. Alright, while the chicken heats up again, I'm gonna drain the green beans. If you wanna keep your green beans nice and green, then you top it with some cold water. This will stop the cooking process and make sure that the green beans keep their nice strong green color. And that's it, we're done. So ready to plate. I'm gonna start by piling on a nice handful of green beans in the middle of my plate. I'm gonna lift a chicken breast on. And then the most important, right? The sauce. So this is great if you've spent the day in the office, so you're looking to manage your weight a little bit, but still want to eat something really creamy, really decadent. And then if you're serving for children, for example, or you feel like you're just a little bit extra hungry, then add in your favorite carb to go with it. But here we are, and ready. I hope you enjoyed this simple Italian flavored recipe. For more low-carb recipes like this, you'll find them here, but for now I'm just gonna dig in, so bon appétit!